What's up, my man? How are you, bud? Oh, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
Holy moly. How tall are you, man?
6'4".
6'4".
6'5".
And what do you weigh?
About 240, 245.
Anyone ever mess with you out on the street, ever? Even if they don't know who you are?
Yeah, I got a lot of little man syndrome.
Do you really? That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would never.
You wouldn't look at him in the bar.
People are so stupid. I don't understand why. Like, guys Rob's size or whatever. Rob is like 5'2" or something. You're telling me guys like that, they want to,
Yeah, I get shoulder checked all the time. I mean,
Do you really?
Yeah.
Sometimes guys just want to impress like their date or whatever, and if you're in a bar, they want to walk by. They don't. Guys are so silly. When you're in a bar, I don't know what it is about guys, but if two guys are walking towards each other, no guy wants to give up any ground.
No, you got to stay square.
Right.
Just if you're drinking.
Right, and then you bump into the guy because no one wants to give any ground, and then one of the guys wants to get mad that someone didn't get out of the way. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, but good morning and welcome to the show. So you were just on Fox, UFC on Fox. You won that fight. Dom said it was a good fight. How long have you been doing mixed martial arts?
Think about 8 to 9 years. 8 years.
8 years. And what made you decide that you wanted to get into this?
Well, I got done with college. I was going back to school to become a firefighter, paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
I was training in the gym, just training people to make some money on the side. And Dan Bobish?
Yes.
He needed someone to wrestle with, so I started wrestling with him, and I just never left the gym.
And you really enjoyed this. I mean, I see. This is like my worst nightmare: going to a gym and having someone beat up on me for hours at a time. But you get off on this. You love it.
I mean, I love the competition aspect. I love training. It keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like when I was a little kid playing sport through high school, college. I have a team. We have coaches. Tell us what to do.
And it's help me pronounce your last name. It's Stipe is your first name.
You can say Miocic.
Miocic.
But in Croatian it's Miocic.
Miocic. Oh my
Close
God.
enough.
It's now you're from Croatia.
No, I'm from Cleveland.
Okay, but your parents came over from Croatia.
Yeah.
So they come over.
Mm-hmm.
They end up here somehow. They have you. What did your parents do when you were growing up? What did they do for a living?
Well, I lived with my mother, so I was raised by my mother. She worked for Penske Logistics.
Yeah.
Trucking and stuff. And then my father, he worked at an estate company, like big estate. So he was like the maintenance man, you could say. And
you want to become world champion because you would really bring the first championship to town for first time in 50 years or something?
For any sport.
Right. So you think that you could be a champion in this?
Yes I can.
How much training do you do?
Usually twice a day, Monday through Friday, sometimes 3 depending, but mostly about twice a day. One big day on Saturday. Actually twice on Saturday now. So.
When you train twice a day, how long are you training for each time?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living? I mean, do you do this exclusively, or do you have another job that you make a living off of?
I'm a firefighter.
So you're a firefighter, so you make a decent living doing that, I guess. You have the kind of schedule where you're able to still do all of this extensive training. There's a lot of work that you have to do.
Yeah, well, I work at 2 departments. I'm part-time, so I can pick my schedule months in advance.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys at the station are awesome. If I need to trade, if I'm going out of town from training or a guy's coming in, I can trade shifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they don't want you to kick their ass. Of course they're going to say. You can do whatever. You can go, hey, let me bang your wife. They go, okay.
Yeah, do it.
Sure, Stipe, whatever you want. So you started doing this 8 or 9 years ago. When did you have your first fight? 8 or 9 years ago was when you first had the first fight?
Yeah, maybe I trained for about a year, so probably like 7 years ago.
So you trained for a year, and then you get your first fight. You nervous in this first fight, or were you pretty comfortable?
I was terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people was this in front of, and who was the guy?
It was a smaller smaller venue. It was amateur show. It was a Thursday night fight. It was probably couple hundred people, like 700 or 800 people. It was packed place, I think. And I fought Dave Bush, and I beat him in like 45 seconds.
45 seconds. So before you get out there, you have hundreds of people. This is the first time you've probably been in front of hundreds of people fighting. And what's going through your mind, that very first fight?
What am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Well, I had a guy that he set up this celebrity boxing match with George Zimmerman and the rapper DMX, and he goes, Rover, would you like to fight on the undercard? I go, God, no. Are you insane? Not only do I not want to get my ass kicked, which I surely would, no matter who they put me up against, but the worst part of that is just the possibility of being humiliated in front of thousands of people. Was that your main concern, or what were you so terrified of?
Just knowing if I was ready. Like you said, embarrassing my family. Like, I just want to I train so hard. I don't want to, get caught with a punch. And, I'm sleeping. I'm looking up at the lights.
Right.
There's so many things going through your head. But then, then once the door closes and they lock you in there, I'm ready to roll. I'm like, whatever.
So many people have gotten into this sport. So you've been training for 8 or 9 years or whatever. But now every guy I see is running around in MMA T-shirts and stuff. He thinks that he's a fighter. Dieter and I hosted a television show a few years ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Where it was mixed martial arts fights. And sometimes they would just let amateurs, I guess they were all fairly amateur or whatever, but sometimes they would let guys in and it would be their first fight. I've never seen anything like this. Like, I've seen people, we saw guys turning their backs in the middle. They're like in a cage.
Hit in the face,
they're getting hit in the face and they turn around and cower, which is, how many guys do you see come into this and they think that they're badasses and they're just, it's ridiculous?
Yeah, a lot of people come in. You get your ego checked at the door, you could say.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think that they're the next big thing, and then they leave.
Have you ever had your ass just handed to you? Has anyone ever just beaten you up and made you look silly?
I've gotten my licks before. Like the first time I sparred, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
It was kind of like baptism under fire.
Yeah, Dieter. When Dieter fought Butterbean, he said, I don't know if it's the same gym that you train at or whatever, but
strong style.
He said that he went over there and like people were just literally beating on him because he's a new guy. They did the same thing to you, basically?
Yeah. I put him in a thought in though when I got a little bit better. So next time I spar with them.
So now when the new guys show up, do you like give them an extra bad beat down because they're brand new and you went through the same thing?
No, actually they're nicer now. I'm pro, so I can't really.
You can't beat up young punks anymore these days.
No.
So you grew up here. Why did you decide to become a firefighter? Why did you want to do that?
I just don't like being behind a desk. I just want to do something like being physical, and I just like helping people.
Someone tells me that you're an EMT, I think in the city of Valley View, where they have the famous Valley View Bridge.
Oh.
If Jeffrey jumped off the Valley View Bridge, which he threatens to do at least once a week, is there any chance he would survive? And I guess you'd be the guy who would probably scoop him up off the base.
Have you seen people down at the bottom after they jump?
No, actually, I've not been in any of those calls. Usually the day after is when I work, and then it happens. They show me pictures, and stuff like that, just to have you be ready for it.
How frequent are people jumping off of this thing? Because I heard that it's fairly frequent, but that they kind of keep it under wraps. That they don't like to publicize that. Is this happening fairly frequently?
Honestly, I don't know. They were keeping a good rap because I haven't heard anything.
Now, at what point do you give up the firefighting job to focus on your MMA career 100%?
Never.
You'll never give it up.
No.
Well, you don't think that you would be able to make enough money fighting in MMA in the UFC to give up a firefighting gig?
There's something about the fire service, it's like a brotherhood. These guys, they come in, they keep me sane,
And you don't want to give it up. Are you making a pretty good living doing the MMA stuff at this point?
Yeah, it pays my house bills, pays my car bill.
Now, if you get paid for a fight, let's say, what's the biggest payday that you've ever gotten in a fight?
I'd rather not talk about that.
$50,000? That's what I heard. Is that accurate?
It's a bonus.
So you got a bonus for $50,000?
Yeah, it's for knockout of the night.
How does that work? So they give you, you get a set amount, whatever it is, and then what do you get on top of that? If you knock a guy out, they give you something extra?
Well, yeah, they have a knockout of the night, submission of the night, and fight of the night. So, 4 guys can make bonuses. Actually, last fight I was at, the guy made $100,000. He got fight of the night and submission of the night.
Oh, wow. So you can make $100,000 right off the bat in one night. Now, out of that amount of money, everyone goes, wow, that's a ton of money. But I'm assuming you then have to pay people out of that, right? Who do you pay out of this? Trainers and stuff? Or
yeah,
who gets...
my head coach, my manager. So, and then you also get 1099.
Yeah, of course, right. The government takes up most of it. But do you pay those guys a flat fee, or do they get a percentage of all of your winnings?
Percentage.
Oh, they do. What kind of percentage you get?
I give them 20%.
20%?
Yeah.
Is that just standard throughout the industry?
I've heard guys get higher. They give higher than that.
Really?
Yeah.
We get really good, and then you can go in there and renegotiate. Say, I'm going to kick your ass. Let's knock this down to 10%.
I mess with my head coach. He's a tough guy.
And what is your goal here? So you fought on UFC on Fox. That was recently. That was
a week and a half ago.
A week and a half ago. What's the next step for you?
Heal up, get better, and wait for that phone call.
How long does it take to recover after you do a fight like you did a week and a half ago?
I'm still banged up right now. My leg's pretty sore. I'll probably take another couple days off here and see how I feel. Maybe I'll just start boxing again. Do you
train at all during this period of time while you're healing, or do you just say, I'm going to relax for the next 2 weeks?
I do like more recovery stuff, stretching, light lifting maybe.
What's the bulk of your, explain a training day for you. You said that you work out twice a day. What do you do?
It depends, like on Monday mornings I usually go with my strength and conditioning coach, one of my strength and conditioning coaches. He puts me through about an hour, 15-minute workout of explosion stuff, plyometrics, then finish stretch out. That takes about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Then go home, eat, take a nap, eat again, go train at night, and then we spar for about an hour and a half.
Some people before a match, they will abstain from banging chicks. They think that that's going to take their energy away. Will you bang a chick before a match, or how long beforehand do you cut yourself off if you don't?
Well, my girlfriend, I usually stop the week before.
So a week before.
Mm-hmm.
And does that just drive you crazy then? Now you have all this pent-up frustration. You're ready to rip the head off of anyone that you come across?
It helps.
How long have you been dating this chick?
Almost 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
What does she do?
She just finished nursing school. She's about to take her boards.
Now, I hear that you train, or at least you're friends with this girl, Jessica I. She's been on the show years and years ago. Remember this?
Yeah,
Charlie said that he could beat her up.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. I go, please, believe me, Charlie would actually, she's on the phone right now, as a matter of fact.
Good timing.
Here she is. I didn't even know that she was on the phone when I brought her up. Jessica, good morning. How are you?
Well, what's going on, Rover? How are you guys?
Hey, listen, I would love, we just talked about, I had to get the promoter of the guy who's doing George Zimmerman versus DMX, and he goes, I'd love to get some undercard fights together. If you still want to fight Charlie, I could probably get you on the undercard of that, and you could beat his ass once and for all.
That works for me. I mean, he's been dodging me a couple of years now.
But anyhow, I didn't even see that you were on the phone. What did you call in for? Because you train with Stipe, right?
Yes, I wanted to talk about when Stipe says that he doesn't get to hand anybody there, but I do remember a time, Stipe. I mean, I do remember a time when I took out your legs. I mean, I think we should tell the story about this. I feel like they need to. I feel like the world should know about the one opportunity that I was able to put a licking on Stipe Miocic.
And you actually took him down. You were beat up by a girl, Stipe, basically.
This is how it all happened. It all panned out. She was like, "Hey, Stipe, I can kick over your head," and I'm like, "BS. There's no way." And she's like, "I can do it," and like everyone's watching.
And you're 6'4". I mean, this is no small feat.
Yeah,
to be able
and she's
to do
about 5'6", 5'7". I'm like, no, there's no possible way this could happen. I was like, fine. So I put my hand up so she don't kick me in the face accidentally, and I'm sleeping for sure.
Right.
So she comes up, acts like she's gonna kick. She's like, all right, I'm ready now, and I'm waiting for this kick, and she straight drops me in the leg. It hurts so bad.
Now, Jessica, are you coming in? I think you're scheduled to come in the next week or two or whatever, I believe.
Yes,
right?
next week. I think Tuesday or something. Tuesday or Wednesday.
You just had a match overturned for a drug test or something, correct?
Well, not technically. It was, prescription I've been taking for something that I have had for a long time with my legs. So we're still working on it.
All right.
But no, it's going to be all right. I mean, that win's a win no matter what, and I'm still fighting February 22nd. So it's still a go.
So they didn't ban you from fighting or anything like that at this point?
No, because I didn't do anything illegal. I have I have a condition that I need to take medicine for, and I was just taking it as normal, and that was it. That's why it took 4 months for it to come out. So I'm still fighting. The UFC backs me, and we're going to put that win back in the W column and then continue my journey.
All right. Well, we can talk about that a lot more when you come in next week. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
We have to let Stipe redeem himself because he did get me back. He did when I had a pretty big sparring session. So.
What did he give you, a purple nurple, or what did he do to you?
No, I was actually getting ready to spar one of the national champions while I was getting ready to. I'll actually let him tell you the whole story.
All right, Jessica, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. What'd you do? How'd you get back to her?
Well, I don't know if you ever see like thing called a club punch, and I sneak through people and you punch someone while she was in the ring about to spar, and I pretty much did like an old Lucas through the ropes through the ring. I punched her right in the thigh, and she fell flat on her back.
What do you think about women fighting in the UFC? Do you like this, or do you think that it's no good?
No, I think it's great. I mean, these girls are good. They know what's going on.
Some people say it's just not a woman's sport, though. You don't subscribe to that. You're fine with it.
But I mean, I wouldn't want to get submitted by a girl.
You know, when I was in high school, I wrestled from about the time I started wrestling when I was in 3rd grade, and I wrestled all throughout high school. And there was always sometimes they'd have opposing schools would have women on the wrestling team or girls, and I'd always feel sorry for the guy on my team if he had to wrestle the girl. Like this was always when they do the matchups, you go, "Oh Jesus Christ, please don't have a girl in my weight class."
Right.
Because it's a lose-lose situation. You beat the girl, you look like an asswipe. You lose to the girl, oh man, you look like a huge pussy. You'll never live that down.
Your friends.
Yeah. Do you think there's any girls that could kick your ass? I mean, in all honesty.
No, I don't think
the
so.
best woman in the world, the best fighter in the world, female fighter. Could she take you?
Well, probably because I would never touch her. I would never hit her.
If a girl was out in a bar and she starts punching you, starts beating you up,
okay,
what would you do? Would you punch her back?
I think my girlfriend would probably step in and take care of business.
See, I've said that. Look, I've never hit a girl. I would never hit a girl. But if I was in a bar and a girl started beating me up, hitting me, I'd pop her in the face. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, does that make me a bad guy?
I mean, I honestly wouldn't do it. I mean, I would get punched by men 265 pounds. You know, if a little 110-pound girl hits me in the face and I fall, I got a problem.
Yeah. See, what happens is a lot of times these women, I've seen videos on YouTube and stuff. I've even seen it out in person where women, they just think because they're a girl, they can do whatever they want to a guy. And because they're a girl, you know, they're untouchable. You can't hit a girl or whatever. And I've seen girls I've personally seen girls start wailing on a guy that they get into an argument in a bar. And I'm like, I look at that, I go, this chick's insane. Because if she did that to me, I don't care who was around. I'd pop her right in the face because you can't get away with that. You shouldn't go around punching anyone in the face like that, no matter who you are, guy, girl, whatever. When was the last time you got in a fight outside the ring?
Honestly, I'm very passive. I don't fight outside. You know, usually everyone steps in for me. You know, I had a couple incidents. You know, but I never did anything. Usually my friends step up. I don't know why, but they did for me, and because I don't think they want me to get in trouble.
Are we talking like more than 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
No, last year.
Oh, it was last year. Last year.
I mean, craziness.
So did you actually fight, or did anyone else step in? You had to throw down and solve the problem?
I didn't throw down. Usually I step up and I go, hey, listen, you know, you don't want to do this, and usually it back down. It's kind of fun. But I mean, like I said, I got a lot of little man syndrome. You know, when I fought in Vegas like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I came back, I could barely walk. My arm was like swollen. A guy was kicking me all the time, and we had shooters, and I was like trying to go to the bathroom, and I'm getting shoulder checked, you know, like guys are eyeing me up, like I'm like, Jesus, man, really?
Really?
Yeah.
This is mind-boggling to me.
Me too.
That's crazy. But you don't go out picking fights. I mean, some guys your size, they go out and they try to get into fights, but you know, the people that can really back it up, that are good, they could really kick your ass. They're not the ones that are running around telling you how tough they are and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, Stipe, listen, I wish you the best of luck. When's your next fight? Do you have any ideas? Has it been scheduled yet?
Not yet. You know, just trying to heal up and hopefully get that call and then we talk about it.
How do they come up with these matches? I mean, do they come to you and they say, we want you to fight so and so, and you just say okay, or is there any sort of matchmaking that happens, negotiation? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, there's a matchmaker. He's really good at what he does, you know, for UFC. I mean, that's why, you know, UFC's the top. But you know, right now I'm number 8. I think I moved up a little bit, so I might be closer to 5. But you know, so I think my next fight will be, you know, probably a top 5 guy.
So you are ranked number 5 of thereabouts in the UFC.
It might be 7 or 6 now.
Heavyweight, right?
Yeah, in the world.
That's number 5 in the world. That's incredible.
Well, not there yet. Hopefully, you know, hopefully the rankings come out soon.
Well, how about this? Who's ranked number 1 right now?
Cain Velasquez.
All right. Do you think that you could take that guy at this point? You think so? You really believe
I have
that?
the best coaches in the world and trainers.
Now, sometimes I hear guys say, "Oh yeah, I could take this guy," and I wonder if they really actually believe it. You really believe that you could take this guy? Is there anyone that you have gotten into a fight with, a match with, that you thought, I may not be able to take this guy?
No.
No. Every time you go in there, you think, I'm going to win this match.
I hate losing.
What goes through your mind when the fight starts?
You touch gloves and let's get to work, and then I start trying to figure them out. It's almost like chess. It's like a puzzle. I'm trying to figure them out. What do you like his tendencies and stuff like that. And I constantly use my jab. Constantly look what I'm doing.
Are you talking to yourself in your head during this period of time? Like, okay, he's doing this. I might be able to exploit that or whatever. So you are. When you hear a lot of people yelling and coaches yelling and stuff, I see these. And they. Do you actually hear that when you're in there, or do you tune it all out?
Actually, funny you say that. My last fight, I heard my coaches screaming at me because they were yelling at me because I wasn't listening the first round. Then I hear Jessica screaming at me, double jab, and then I hear my girlfriend screaming, F him up.
You're like, thanks, honey, I'm trying.
Oh, it was awesome.
But I remember, like, when I would wrestle, your coach would be yelling something at you, and he'd be telling you to do something, and you're like, yeah, I know, but I'm in a position where I can't do that right now. It's easier said than done.
Right.
So you can actually hear all of that while you're out there. And are you able to execute what they are telling you to do? Do you then actually do it?
Yeah, I think it's one thing I'm actually good at is listening.
Yeah.
A lot of guys sometimes they go out there and they just do what they do and kind of not listen to the game plan, and usually they end up with a loss.
Because I would be worried that the guy that you're fighting also hears your coach telling you to do something, and he goes, oh, well, his coach is telling him to do that. I'm going to be on guard for that.
Well, we have cadences also. We have a thing called the Klitschko. We have something called the quarter. We have something called check. So, so
you
22.
have all these code words or whatever. All right, so your coach will yell out a code word.
Yeah.
That way he's not just telling you to
step, right hand, left
right,
jab.
right. I got you. So how much of it is mental and how much of it is physical, would you say?
I think it's more. For me, it's got to be 90% mental.
No kidding. Really?
Yeah. I'm a head case before I fight.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, I'm just thinking about so many things running through my head, like, thinking all the negative things that could happen, thinking about it could be knocked out, could be submitted, going to lose, if I lose, I drop back down. There's so many variables.
Do you study your opponent? Do you study tape of their past fights? How much time do you spend doing that?
A couple weeks, I usually get the couple weeks out, and then like last 2-3 weeks, really buckle down and watch it,
And so you watch how many of their fights? Their last 3 fights, last 2 fights?
All as many as we can get.
As many of them as you can get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because everyone has tendencies, just like football.
Now, I'm a complete pussy.
Okay.
If I were in a bar and for whatever reason you and I were to get into a fight,
okay,
what would my best move to be able to take you down? What should I do?
Buy me a beer.
See, I was going to say kick you in the nuts or something. Yeah. I mean, what would be, if I had to fight you, what would be the weakness?
My weakness? I don't know. I mean,
seriously, I think I might have to just punch you right in the nuts or something, and hope that you don't hit him in the thigh on accident, and then really, really piss him off.
Right.
If you were in a fight,
okay,
and you're out in public, I'm talking about a bar fight, back alley kind of fight. Would you resort to punching someone in the nuts? Would you say? I mean, would you fight dirty in order to win?
It's a fight, man. There's no rules.
You don't care.
I'll bite the ear off.
You would, but you wouldn't want to kill someone.
No,
right?
God, no.
Could you ever kill anyone? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I think anyone could.
Under what circumstances? Like if someone broke into your house and they're attacking your girlfriend, you could kill them, of course. Yeah. But do you think you could ever be pushed to the limit out, like in a bar fight or something, where you might snap and kill someone? No,
I mean, honestly, like if a fight broke out, I would just make sure my girlfriend and my friends are okay, make sure they're out of the way, and then I'll sit there and I usually talk to the guy, Usually I buy them a beer and be like, listen, misunderstanding, we're good.
Right.
Let me buy a beer, a shot.
Right.
We're good, man. And then usually I leave because usually that'll escalate to more drunkenness. And then
I wish more guys were like you. There's a lot of guys that are tough guys, big guys like you, and they feel as if they have something to prove, and they know how it is. Hey, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But Stipe,
just say Miocic, we're good.
Miocic. How do you say it in Croatian?
Miocic.
Miocic.
Yeah.
I kind of like that pronunciation. It almost sounds like a Russian mafia or something.
Good luck.
Do the Croatians and the Russians get along, or do they hate each other?
No, I think we're good.
You're all right.
Yeah, no problem.
Miocic. Yeah. Tell me something in Croatian. Like if I wanted to pick up a chick, do you know any Croatian? What would I say?
I mean, I don't know much. I more understand it than I do speak it.
Yeah. All right. Stipe, well, look, good luck in whatever your next fight is. You seem to be an all right guy. I hope you get the number one. I mean, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Not only for you, for the city, for all the hard work that you've done over the past decade, and I wish you luck, my man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming in. I have to take a quick break. We will be right back on Rover's Morning Glory. Hang on.
Rover's Morning Glory.